Um, over to, who did we say next? Lainey. Lainey, you're coming up.
Hi, I am Lainey Davis, and I live in Pittsburgh, and all my books are set in Pittsburgh, and I love everything about Pittsburgh. And so the book that I'm going to read from is book 4 in my series in progress called Bridges and Bitters, which all the books are kind of centered in a bar of that name. And it's a series that follows this group of found family. So it's just a group of women best friends. And in this book, Esther, the bar owner, is going to be it's a marriage of convenience novel. And I'm going to read a chapter from Koa's point of view. And he is a person from New Zealand. He's Maori. And I'm not going to attempt his accent at all. So I'm just going to read it as me. But it is a Koa chapter that I'm going to read. And this chapter begins 5 years earlier. I drop my bag on the tile floor, and the sound echoes through the empty walls. This is it. My last look at my parents' house before the new owners walk through and sign the papers. They better sign the damn papers. It took ages to sift through all the knickknacks and socks, cooking pots, and my mom's entire drawer full of erasers. For a pair of professed world travelers, they managed to accumulate entirely too much crap. I donated almost all of it. I can't hang on to any more than I can fit in a storage pod. I have no idea how much longer I'll be able to stay in my flat after graduation. It's been nearly 4 years since my parents died, and I've spent the entire time putting off dealing with this estate. It seemed fitting. They spent 5 years putting off dealing with my citizenship papers and died before they started the job. I take one last look around, shake my head, and snap off the lights. I wonder briefly that I never got round to thinking of this as my house. It's always been theirs, but that's always meant I haven't had a place to think of as home. I say New Zealand is home, but I don't know that that really feels that way to me either. How many memories of Aotearoa are real, and how many are fairy tales I've created? I hoist the tote bag of the last of my parents' parental souvenirs onto my shoulder and set off on foot for the nearest dive bar. Mercifully, when I push through the door of the cage, it's a ghost town. No sports on TV tonight, no fried food special, just me and this cracked pleather bar stool. I'll take a picture, I say to the barkeep without glancing up. And then I glance, and then I keep on staring. Hey there, pet, I say, leaning on my accent as I try to reverse course. This woman is gorgeous. Lush curves, tight jeans, and enough dark hair to cover my torso. Not your pet. She slams the plastic pitcher in front of me with a splash and moves down the bar to wash a few glasses. I pour myself a cup of terrible beer and watch her. She'd be a terrific distraction from the mess of my paperwork situation. Like what you see? She arches a brow when she catches me staring, but I don't look away. Yeah, I say. Things are looking pretty good from where I'm sitting. She doesn't comment on my accent like most girls in this country, doesn't flutter her lashes or ask where I'm from. She doesn't say anything at all as she keeps herself busy cleaning and organizing, tidying stacks of cash from the register and pocketing the tip jar. I look over my shoulder and confirm I am definitely the only patron. Is she here alone in a dive bar after midnight? Tony's in the kitchen, and I'm pretty good with a blunt object, so don't get any ideas. I hold my hands up. My ideas were simply concern for your safety. Glad you got Tony here. It's a lie. I hate Tony, whoever he is, for his proximity to this woman, because her lips form his name in any capacity. I lean my elbows on the bar and take a sip of my beer. I'm Koa. She carries a tray of dirty dishes toward the back and kicks open the swinging door, emerging a few seconds later with a bar towel between her hands. I give her my best smile. Still here, Koa? My grin stretches even further, hearing her say my name. Yeah. Got to finish this picture, don't I? She stretches to look at my progress. Well, you got half an hour. Better get to it. I hadn't realized it was quite this late, but I'm in no mood to rush. Slowly sipping watery beer while I stare at this gorgeous bartender beats dragging my bag of memories back to an empty apartment. I take another swig. Aren't bartenders usually quite talkative? She puts a hand on one hip. You gonna tip me more if I tell you I like your eyes? That draws a laugh from me, and I slap a 20 on the bar. She yanks it away, opens the till, and raises another eyebrow at me as she counts out the change. You can keep it all if you tell me your name. How much is mine if I tell you to mind your own business? I shrug. All of it, I guess. Can I tell you a secret? She leans forward on her elbows. They all do, sweetheart. They all do. I set my cup down and lean closer. Well, at the risk of being boring, I hate tipping. Loathe it. You shouldn't have to be nice to me for money. Koa, I haven't been nice to you at all. You remembered my name, though. We're making progress. She busies herself a bit more, and I sip my drink, biding my time. So where do you come from that there's no tipping? You looking to make a move? She shrugs. I smile. New Zealand, I tell her. They pay people a living wage there. She sniffs. Must be nice. I sigh. I wouldn't really know. Haven't been back since I was young. Well, I haven't been anywhere since I was young, so I guess we have that in common. Maybe someday we'll go to the South Island together and not tip. She's constantly in motion, wiping surfaces and organizing pens. I'm about to accept defeat and leave, but she says, it's not a bad idea, paying the staff enough that they don't depend on tips. Want me to tell your manager to give you a raise? She laughs. You're welcome to try. She looks at the clock above the register, shrugs, and grabs a plastic cup from the stack by the register. She meets my eye and pours herself a few ounces from my pitcher. Esther. My name's Esther. I raise my cup to her and she taps hers against it. Tell me more about your ideas, Esther. You going to manage this place and pay the staff better? She shakes her head and wipes her mouth with the back of her hand. Not this place, no. She bites her lip like she's already said too much, but then decides to plow ahead. Someday I'll have my own spot, though, and I will pay a living wage, and I'll charge accordingly for the drinks. A thought occurs to me as she talks about wanting her own place, and I glance at her left hand in curiosity. No ring. So I might not be here to visit your swanky new bar where you can be a smart mouth and still pay the rent. But I'm going to own the building, she smiles dreamily. No rent for me. We both laugh. I wait a beat, and she asks, where are you heading that you'll miss my grand opening? The thing is, Esther, I've overstayed my welcome here. At the cage? Nah, you got another 10 minutes. I shake my head. Here, like America. She frowns. They're kicking you out? I wag a finger at her. No, I just don't have permission to stay here anymore. I wait for her to ask me questions, to indicate in some way that she wants to hear all about my parents dying before we dealt with my citizenship, how I coasted through university as a guest in the country I'd called home for a decade with no real connection to the land we left behind. Esther doesn't ask, so I just say, I've got a proposition for you. Did I mute myself?
There. Yay! Let me just go back to gallery view. Yay! Fun. And that was how many years later? This was a 5 years earlier, or
That was 5 years earlier.
5
Yep.
years earlier. Cool. Questions for Lainey? And he says she loves the series and can't wait for Esther's story.
Oh, yay.
And this one is coming out as a Kickstarter. So tell us, this is going to be your third Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, I'm into it. I really like this direct sales model. Stuff with retailers are a little bit in and out, and it's just very confusing time right now, but I'm really having fun with Kickstarter. So the ebook and the paperback will be on Kickstarter, and then I will have a wedding welcome box with gifts inspired by the story, so people can read along and
all made in Pittsburgh, right?
Almost everything. Yeah, there is one thing that I'm ordering, but yeah.
Lainey did a very cool thing with her first Kickstarter where she took one of her books. There it is, the Flippy Floppy book.
Yeah, I'm not doing that this time.
Any other questions? Or I've got a couple of questions I can ask you. Like, let me just make sure no one else
is going to do the audio. Well, I have not started the audio for this series yet, but I use Blue Nose Audio Productions, and they have in the past assured me that they can find someone to do any type of voice. So I'm sure that Joe Arden will find a Maori performer who's in the SAG-AFTRA union to be Koa.
I want to ask you if you believe, do you believe in happily ever afters, or are you more of a realistic thinker around
I
that?
do believe in happily ever after. I have been with my husband for more than half of my life, and he still plays pranks on me all the time, which is my love language. And just the other day, he threw a glass of cold water on me while I was in the shower, and
And you met in high school, right?
No, we met at college and did not like one another. Suffered through one another's presence bowling for a couple of years. And then I don't know, maybe enemies to lovers. Yeah, there was one moment where I had a double ear infection and I needed someone to drive me to the pharmacy, and he agreed to drive me to the pharmacy to get the medicine.
And that was the beginning?
I stopped hating him at that point.
That is fabulous.
That sounds like a sick bed scene, hero to the rescue right there. So yeah.
You got all the tropes in your life.
How fun. All right. Thank you, Lainey. And if anyone, actually, we should be putting links in too. If you want to put in a link, I can do that, or you can.